Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is May 9th, and today we're going to take a look at some new La Nina data that came across. We'll take a look at the fall and winter, what we can expect as far as forecasts as far as La Nina is concerned. Taking a look here, this is a 90-day loop of La Nina conditions across the central Pacific. As you can see, the sea surface temperature anomalies well below normal through this region here. This is where we measure this area here, Nino 3.4, and you can see we are probably just into a moderate La Nina still. You can see the upwelling occurring here off the coast of South America here and extend all the way across the central Pacific. This in turn usually builds up warmer water here in the western Pacific, and that creates this different gradient here off the coast of Asia, which in turn affects our weather downstream through here on the Pacific Northwest. Now, when you flip that around and you go El Nino across the central Pacific, you tend to build warmer water here and you create a different gradient that exists across much of the Pacific Ocean here, bringing a more warm southwest flow into the region here, which keeps us warmer and generally California a bit wetter. Here's another look at that same El Nino here, January 2016, of just how far that warm water can extend up across the Pacific Ocean here. And you can see just a complete flip-flop from the La Nina conditions we have now. So taking a look at the Pacific Ocean here, infrared satellite imagery, you see the big cyclone out here over the Aleutians. This is going to allow that system to drop down out of Alaska onto us going through this week and continue our cold weather all the way through into this weekend. We'll check out just to see what we're looking like for this weekend on into early next week, though, as far as temperatures, and we'll see if we can get any nice days in between here as well. So you can see this cold air is spilling all the way down the west coast of North America here, still much of it over Oregon and Northern California as we go through the day today. We'll check out the thunderstorm risk across the area too for the next couple of days. Now, taking a look here a little bit closer, you can see that cold air and these cumuliform clouds diving down into California and southern Oregon here right now. You can see mostly cloudy for much of western Washington, but there are some sun breaks this morning and a little bit sunnier for eastern Washington, eastern Oregon so far this morning. So checking things out briefly around the rest of the country, see the fire danger exists up there through the southern plains, southern central plains, and all through New Mexico, Colorado. Some high wind warnings going on out there. Some excessive heat warnings down there through Texas. And generally quiet around the rest of the country. There is going to be a severe weather threat up through Minnesota and into Wisconsin today. We'll take a brief look at that. And you can see that highlighted here with that 10% risk of tornadoes for portions of Minnesota and Wisconsin. So heads up if you're traveling out there. Some big hail is possible also. Tomorrow should be down in the southern plains. Wednesday back up into the northern plains, and Thursday as well on day 4. You can see a significant severe threat, highlighted near that Fargo, the Dakotas into Minnesota on in through Thursday. I might be out chasing that. I'll let you guys know, and I'll be live streaming. I'll probably do some Q&A on the drive out there to keep myself occupied. So checking out back to the Pacific Northwest, SeaTac, check this out. 3 days in a row at 55 degrees. Again, 10 degrees below average yesterday. For a lot of areas, it didn't feel that bad, though. You had the sun breaks, and it felt like a fairly warm 55 at times. But I know some of you guys were trapped underneath the shower, especially out there on the Kitsap Peninsula, as we were dropping some small hail and some pretty persistent moderate rainfall was going on out there. I was taking some pictures of those nice clouds yesterday. So anyway, it looks like a little bit of the same today. We'll take a look at just what we can expect shower-wise here in a moment. This is Seattle-Tacoma for the year so far. The green line here is the average temperatures as we go through the year, and you can see this is the time of the year we start warming up pretty good here, and we peak there in later July and early August as far as heat for the Pacific Northwest. And you can even see that red there from the heat dome last year, late June, where we hit 108 at SeaTac. This is the rain line here. You can see we're above average generally. We're a little bit below average there in late February, but we've since gone above there. You can see generally below average for April, March. We had a couple warm periods, but generally a little bit below average. We had that cool period in late February here and kind of a mixed bag through January and February. Now, taking a look at the convective available potential energy we can expect, you can see we do destabilize during the day today for Willamette Valley up through the Puget Sound here, and really much of the area is going to have some instability going on today. So we'll check out where these showers might set up here in a moment here. And then as we go on in through the day Tuesday, you can see that kind of be more confined to Oregon there and less for Washington as the instability moves down into Northern California, Oregon, on into Idaho and Montana. As we go through the day Wednesday, what can we expect? Looks like that pushes off to the east. Maybe a little bit of instability for the Washington coast, but not much. So here's what taking a look at what kind of shower activity we can expect during the day today. Here's the 12Z run. This goes out 48 hours. So bringing us through the day today, you can see some of this instability again. Kitsap Peninsula, maybe this move over Seattle and a little bit east of Seattle today too. Foothills. So there's going to be a lightning strike potential with some of these cells here, the heaviest portions of these showers. And you can see this kind of the low pressure spin down through Northern California and through Nevada down here as we continue to bring some showers through the day tomorrow as well through the Puget Sound. But again, they should be fairly widely scattered. A very outside chance for a lightning strike with these showers generally. And checking out the European, let's see what it says here as far as lightning potential as well. Going through the day today, here's late morning, noontime, 1, 2, 3 p.m. So there is some lightning threat, as you can see, around the region. But again, these would be pretty widely scattered and only in the heaviest showers. So eyes on the sky again today. Watch that instability. Should have some nice looking showers around the area again. I saw a lot of those pictures on Twitter yesterday. Going on through the day Tuesday, you can see we destabilize a bit, but it's mostly confined to Oregon for the most part, Idaho Panhandle. So heads up if you're in those areas. And going through the day Wednesday, let's see if we can expect anything. Most of the threat pushes off to the east by Wednesday, but then we'll have another system moving down during the day Thursday and maybe reintroduce another thunderstorm threat as we go on in through Friday. We'll take a look at that in some detail here coming up. You can see this trough opening up over the region here. Keeps us unstable. Maybe some mountain snows with those showers we go through this evening. And going in through tomorrow, you can see that system sliding down the coast there tomorrow evening. And then on through Wednesday, you can see that frontal system by the evening time just starting to impact Washington, Oregon coast. Going into Thursday morning, that frontal system really encompasses much of the western portions, BC, Washington, Oregon, bringing snowfall through the Cascades. And yeah, so we're going to take a look at the extended here in a moment, but it looks like the system is on track to come through Thursday and go on through Friday morning across the region. This is looking at yesterday's European run, kind of gives us a look at the extended here. You can see the system drop down. This comes through on Thursday mainly. And then we kind of build a dirty ridge here with some troughing just north of us. But we might get a couple of nice days out of here. There's still some hope for next weekend. As you can see this ridge build out here. Gulf of Alaska trough going strong, though. It could easily break down this ridge and send a system our way or some precipitation and clouds. So we'll have to watch that closely. It's going to be a game of inches here going on in through the weekend. And then you can see on in through next week, another trough drops down over the Pacific Northwest. So no rest for the weary here. I guess we can hope for a few nice days in between. But look at this next trough coming through on into mid and late May. Let's see if the GFS agrees or what kind of signal it's showing. You can see a good agreement on that system dropping down. And then as it clears out, it does not build the ridge back in as much. Look at that. And then it swings another trough. So that's why I called it a game of inches. You can see that Gulf of Alaska troughing going on here. GFS does not show as nice conditions as what the European shows. European tends to be a little bit more reliable. That doesn't mean it's always correct, though. And as we go on into the extended, look at this just persistent troughing on the GFS again. I almost hope this is not correct. Before well into the extended, it starts to build a ridge, but it's not accurate at those time frames. Let's see what the Canadian model says here and see if there's any agreement. There comes, well, this is the 12Z, so let's see how much this is updated here. I'll update this one. And how far out is this going? Well, maybe far enough. Anyway, there comes the system down here through Thursday, swinging through the region. And it starts to build the ridge here, but it does show that troughing out here. This would probably continue to stream clouds and some precipitation into the area as we go through the day Friday and probably in through the weekend here. Let's back up to yesterday's run here on the Canadian and see. It does build that ridge there, kind of in between the GFS and the Euro with that troughing over the Gulf of Alaska here, but that would be swinging a system through the region, though. That's a pretty tight gradient here. We'd probably be getting some precipitation and clouds with that through the weekend. And then on into the extended, it's not quite as bullish as showing the trough coming down next week as it builds more of a ridge, but it does have the Gulf of Alaska low. So pretty good model disagreement going on through early next week. So we'll just have to watch that more tomorrow and tomorrow's forecast. Here's SeaTac. You can see all the way through Saturday, well below average temperatures. Then we get up towards average here for Sunday and Monday as you saw the European build that ridge up. And then we're closer to average. You're going through the extended. But we're not going to pay too much attention to that yet because this can easily change. But the story of this week on in through the early part of the weekend, at least, is well below average temperatures. And you can see this is the most recent one here all the way through Saturday, only into the mid and upper 50s. We should be into the mid 60s at this point of the year. This is for Seattle, Tacoma, also the most recent. It's kind of showing that there's pretty good model agreement here. You can see the mean and the control are generally pretty strongly agreed all the way through Saturday night. But it does show a little bit of a warm up maybe coming there on Saturday, but we'll have to see about that. But the story of this week, below average temperatures and showers off and on, with the frontal system moving through Thursday and then working its way through on Friday. Now this is Seattle, Tacoma. This was the most recent one here. You can see it's kind of highlighting this precipitation with that frontal system as we go through the day, Thursday and on into Friday. So no big signals for precipitation after that, but we're going to have to watch that troughing to see if it makes its way down into the region here. Now this is looking at this morning, or actually last night, and you can see the troughing. We're supposed to bump out of that a little bit through next week, according to the European. But it does show signals for maybe another trough after that, and then maybe building the heights back up again, maybe some more ridging. But we have poor model disagreement at this time, so we're going to have to take another look at this tomorrow and the next day and try to pinpoint some agreement between the models and the extended. Now this is looking at La Nina going on into the fall and winter here, and this is new data issued May 9th here, as you can see, and you can see minus 0.5 there is where La Nina conditions exist, and the ensemble mean shows us below that all the way in through December of this upcoming year 2020. As we go into 2023, we could be in for our third La Nina in a row. And if we take a closer look here at these signals here, you can see the Central Pacific well below average forecast all the way in through November, December, and January of 2022 and 2023. So we might be doing that 3-year La Nina thing that happens every 20 to 25 years or so. And here kind of highlights that. You can see this happened back in the 50s, 54, 55, and 56. We kind of did that. And then we did it in the 70s again, 73, 74, 75. We did it again here in 99, 2000, and 2001. So it seems to trend between every 20 and 25 years, we get a third dip La Nina. You can see most of our La Ninas are these double dip or maybe even single dip La Ninas. And then you can see intermixed in here these extreme El Nino conditions, the big Godzilla El Nino of 1997 and 98, the big 2015-16 El Nino. You can see the one back in 82 and 83. So eventually another one of these El Ninos is coming our way here, probably in the next 2 to 3 years. We might get a neutral year in between, but eventually here in the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to be back in El Nino conditions. As you can see, it's a pretty standard pattern that after La Nina conditions, we maybe get a neutral year, then back into El Nino. But that's still a ways off. We may be going into our third year of La Nina conditions in a row. So not unprecedented. It does happen every 20, 25 years. So we'll see how this one works out here. And we'll continue to monitor this forecast as we go on through the summer and check it out and see if anything changes going on through the fall and the winter. So this kind of shows you Nino 4, Nino 3 is red, La Nina 4 is the blue here, and we measure it right here. Just, I'm not sure exactly why we measure at that exact region, 3.4, but anyway, that is where we measure the sea surface temperature anomalies to tell us if we were in El Nino or La Nina conditions. And yeah, so this is back to that 90-degree loop here, just showing our La Nina conditions that have dominated our spring here in the Pacific Northwest, keeping us below average and for the most part, and just a trademark signature of La Nina. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it and it's not becoming too much of a problem for you guys. I know it's kind of delaying like planting tomatoes and some warmer weather crops around the region, but for the most part, we should be headed towards a fairly average summer. We'll see how that goes. Of course, a day and week at a time as we get into the future here. But today, watch out for those nice crisp white clouds. You should get some picturesque pictures again out there today as we destabilize through the afternoon. A slight chance of a thunderstorm around the region. In fact, let's go ahead and check that out a little bit here. I wanted to see, yeah, we do have a general thunderstorm threat. Generally, it looks like about Tacoma, Olympia southward through mostly Oregon, portions of northeast Washington too. I skipped this last round, but there is a potential for a random lightning strike even through the Puget Sound today. So eyes on the sky today. Get some of those pictures, put them on Twitter. Make sure to @ me in them, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.